playing against a Timbersaw as this lineup is even more terrifying. He's just gonna just own you if he gets any sort of decent farm. But when you have like all melee heroes, you can't even zone out a Timbersaw.
Yeah.
I wonder how much the acid spray bothers him. I guess not that much because he has reactive armor.
Yeah, he has a tank creeps though.
And he may even have the IO rotating in to help him out because Quap doesn't really need help. Night Stalker's fairly independent.
Well, the debuff lasts for how long? 7 seconds. It's kind of hard to last hit against that.
Against the Whirling Death. Yeah, you're right.
If you're a strength hero.
Sven picked up last.
All right. This is a support
What's
Sven,
that?
apparently, unless they swap things up here. The plus armor, pretty good versus Alk.
I mean, I think they're probably swapping.
Okay.
Yeah, but that would still, I'm like trying to theory craft why they would not run a Mystic Core.
Okay, there we go.
They've already swapped.
Well, he's
Yeah.
1-5 still in the Sven, though.
Yeah.
And he's a support.
So Iceberg mid.
Yeah.
So mid Timber? Okay, there you go. So support Night Stalker, core Sven. Merlini was right.
Offlane Queen of Pain. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, this is. I kind of like this draft from CIS Rejects. I don't remember the last time I've seen Timbersaw. It's been a while.
He's been played a couple times when they've had these other tournaments. Like they were in the game show CIS qualifiers, and they won that whole the whole qualifier and were able to go through. I think, in a large part, off the work of Iceberg. I mean, the rest of the players on this team are obviously really, really good as well. Vanscore on the IO, just a classic there, and I think that they're pretty good. You know, it's not often that you see a team just kind of with a mid player come out of nowhere that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, I think already taking that one game versus Monkey is already a huge sign of strength. They tied a couple of teams, but
Right.
yeah.
Their first match I saw them, they did not look very strong, to be honest. But it
Yeah.
seems like they're getting better. They're also, I believe they had to change their roster because, was it Goblak who was on this team and then left? I can't remember. I think they lost at least one, if not two players at some point. So, assuming that's true, then you've got that little adjustment period.
I wonder if they can get the Alk the Bounty rune. Looks like Miracle is going to be isolated on the bottom lane. It's going to be a tough matchup for him versus the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, really tough there. And then I guess are they gonna aggro try this potentially?
I mean, they can just have crit be flex.
Okay.
You can also have like Doom start off in the opponent's jungle, have Undying start off as off lane. There's so many things that you can do with this, depending on how they see CIS lanes. You want to be able to contest his stacks, though.
Early level 1 engagement breaks out. Iceberg does get off a pretty well-placed Whirling Death. Still dropping low here, though, and grabs the Bounty Rune. Immediately gives up the first blood after it, but a Sven stun on 3 means the death of Big Daddy. Still, Zombie Man king in these early engagements.
I think that's worth it for Dire, giving up first blood and 2 kills to deny the Alk the Bounty Rune.
Yeah, that's
I think it's actually worth it.
And he had to skill Grievel's Greed at level 1, which maybe isn't what you want versus a Timbersaw.
That was also really nice by Crit. CIS Rejects, they were waiting for the Sven stun right at like -1 second to secure the rune, and instead of waiting for that, he actually slept him so he couldn't cast it.
Nice.
So
Shadow Strike on the Miracle here.
But they still got the rune.
Yeah. Does Undying make that lane that much more difficult, or is Queen of Pain still pretty comfortable down there?
She just has to waste her mana and time on harassing the Undying so that Tiny can get some CS. It's not that great just because there's 2 melee heroes. And
Moon suddenly up against the tri-lane. He was not expecting this. The stun comes through. He's already popped the Scorched Earth, but not really that good at level 1. Tanks this Tether slow. There is going to be another Void available soon, and they will need it to get the kill. Goes the way of the IO for Vanscore. This means the bottle will come sooner, and given that he did not rush it, that will really help him out.
Absolutely, and doing a pretty good job in the mid lane as well. 6-0 versus the 3-0. I mean, it's a little bit too early to tell, but that Whirling Death is really, really punishing for Alchemist.
Yeah, see Big Daddy also kind of reluctant to getting close to Iceberg because he knows how much damage the Timber can do.
on top of that, he doesn't really have good access to runes. You want access to the top rune if you're Radiant, and with the tri-lane there, it's not that great for him. Alternatively, he can like stack this Golem camp and run to the bottom, but that takes so much more time than staying mid.
And there's a Quap Bottom, who's a very mobile hero that can potentially beat you to the rune anyway.
Yeah, let's see what he wants to do. He doesn't even have a bottle, so it's not worth it for him at this point.
Crit will grab an invis. Not scouted by the Dire side, though. Well, Miracle's only level 2, so not too much burst here to force that queen back to the well.
Gonna be content to get a little bit of zone in there. Always want to fly. It's not often that you can see somebody just go straight up into Doom's face, and with level 2,
This might be a kill on bottom though. They might sleeve him into a combo. I don't know if they
He's
have
level
enough
3
damage.
now, but
Yeah, it's gonna be really.
he's got 1 stick charge. He's gonna get some more avalanche toss coming through. They get the decay off. It's just enough. Monkey, nice job there.
Good rune.
And this is an offlane co-op, not a hero that can afford to just be dying and not farming. Only 2 CS thus far.
Yeah, they might need like the Night Stalker to come over and help him out come nighttime because he has a pretty high chance, I'd say, of getting slept and just dying.
yeah, it's tough. That tiny, just so much damage coming out from the Avatos combo.
Yeah.
They're gonna mess around up.
He's out of mana though, so she's safe for at least, a minute and a half.
Yeah, Miracle wanting to get a little bit of extra mana goes for the Magi robe first.
Also,
En route to
Wisp
the
doesn't have a
treads, I
TP
imagine.
yet. If they see that coming, they can also just tether and turn.
Yeah, they do have... It's still daytime here. They tried to rotate 1 support in on mid, but Big Daddy protected now by Crit. This could be trouble. In the acid spray, Iceberg drops quickly, has no regen, just now gets the boots. Too late as Crit connects for the last hit.
I think at this point they need one of the heroes on top to go to another lane. This is they're getting owned by the Bane in mid and bottom lane.
Like, I felt like the IO is probably going to be sitting in the mid lane. Is he the one that probably should rotate here?
It depends. If it's a defensive play, I think Wisp is better. If it's an offensive play, I think Night Stalker's better.
Okay.
But
Night
now it's
Stalker's tried to
nighttime.
come mid twice, though, and still not nighttime. Hasn't really had the openings.
Let's see if Big Daddy gets a rune. Oh, the bounty.
Oh, dear. Let the fun begin. And they are stacking a little bit. Already a double stack up.
It's really costly for them to not be able to defend one of those because they lose rune control. It's nighttime. They're supposed to be scared. They're supposed to not be able to contest runes with the Queen of Pain on the opposite side. But Monkey getting a nice bump back.
They try to make their move on Moon top lane, forcing out the Scorched Earth, but he's just so tanky
Mid
with
lane,
this.
Big Daddy.
And they will also go in a mid, as you mentioned. Killing off the Alkin turn. Crit. Looking for a sleep setup. It's onto the Timber that he goes. They are rotating the Doom, but no Scorched Earth. Total non-factor in any potential fight here.
This frees up a lot of space for Tiny. That one invis kill was huge for him because Queen of Pain has a good matchup versus Tiny, and her CS is really poor at 9 compared to Tiny's 26. And he can get like an early blink and just blow up the Wisp or blow up the Queen of Pain, which you definitely do not want Tiny to have.
Yeah. Jump forward again. Maybe a little bit of a stun going to get laid out here. Creating a little bit of just the pressure consistently onto this Timber Saw mid.
And the annoying thing is you're not getting reactive armor stacks from that combo, so you take the full brunt of the damage.
And they don't have any stacks for him.
You have level 6 now. Night Stalker's still sort of hanging out around the mid lane. Just continuing to toss out these stuns.
And now they know he has a ward though. He's stunned up though. So I'm not sure if that was actually worth it for him. They pinged out immediately on the ward as soon as he threw out the concoction.
They have abandoned the offlane here with the Doom. Queen of Pain still trying to find her openings. Has hit level 5, so is getting quite a bit of experience. Even compared to the Doom.
Oh, that's a big stack. I don't know if anyone scouted that out.
Big Daddy now wanting his bounty room, but CIS rejects. Let's get ready to rumble. They're over to it. The Hasteford spawns. Nobody picking it up. They like, oh, Hasteford, we don't care about that. It's not a bounty rune. This is useless to us, but they will grab it and now move on to Iceberg.
Oh, the tombstone.
Quickly removed by the tombstone. We'll make it away.
I don't know if Goriat's scouted out this stack. This could be a point of contest for them. Let's see. Sven has 1 point in cleave, so they can definitely do it with Timber.
I was kind of wondering if that's what they were going to rotate over for at that point, but it looks like it was just going to be sort of...
That was for bottom room.
Yeah.
And to get that ward in there. I don't think that blocks the spawn.
Which one? Oh, this.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too far
I don't
north.
think it does. I think the idea is just to avoid being dewarded.
I mean, usually you place a sentry like to the left of the stairs. That one will catch it.
That's true. If you do the one that's over more in the river, though, I guess
Yeah.
it'll be safe.
Yeah. I guess they can scout the small camp though. It like barely has vision on the small camp, so that's pretty good.
There's a lot of stacks coming out right now on Monkey Business. They're getting ready to go.
They're stack fiends. Keep in mind though, if they don't take it out early.
These?
Yeah, they can with Sven, but Sven has to rotate. I don't know if he wants to rotate this early.
And Timber could potentially steal them even.
Yeah. He's too weak though. He's gonna die if he kind of ventures into
If the IO comes with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a period where teams were like sending like 3-4 heroes into the enemy jungle back in 6.84. Like if you can't actually ward block the camps, at the very least go contest them, try to steal the stacks, and have that rubber band, well not rubber band, like that swing in gold where they lose out on opportunities and you get some.
I feel like they should know that these stacks are here. Like you're playing up against an alchemist, you're consistently not seeing.
Well, they don't know which camp it is though. It
Right.
could be like the left camp, which is actually massively stacked. It could be the ancients, which we see fairly often because they've had a couple heroes around at that mid region, but they don't have that great a vision. Just that one small camp.
And they see that, and there's also the Doom to think about, who also is stacking Moon, taking one for the team. This is the gold strat. All they need now is a Midas, really, and they'll be in fine shape.
So if I were Monkey Business, I'd be very worried about them stealing it because Timber can take it out super quickly. And even as Queen, I would consider like ulting a big camp for it.
I think it's worth it because of how much you're depriving the Alchemist of. Even if you have to play cautious and can't take fights.
But now
after.
I think he's going to take it out with the regeneration rune.
Oh. And
Yeah.
Doom will probably leech some experience, get Moon closer to level 6.
Yeah, now they're tombing it. And no vision in this area, so there's almost no way they can contest this. They can still get the one on the left, but it should be pretty obvious now that no one's defending the top tower as to what they're up to.
That's
Gold
too
coins
bad.
spraying everywhere. All of a sudden up to another 850 gold from that.
I feel like that's huge. Like the fact, I mean, Sven is pretty far up, but I don't know, it's tough.
So for those wondering, the final score of the last game was 40-10 favoring NIP. Bit of a depressing way to end what could be their last game with this roster. Do they have any lands coming up? I don't think so. They're not playing MLG, right? And they're definitely not at Nunyon. I'm curious to see what they do. Maybe they'll take the Vega approach and just say, you know what? We're going to stick together. Even though we fell short, we believe in our team. It will be interesting.
I really want to see this Timber Saw be able to do more. Like, how do you end up having more of an impact with this hero at this point in time? Does he need to like?
You roll out with the Wisp and the Sven. They're waiting for Sven Blink as well as Wisp 6. Unfortunately, the Wisp 6 is way behind the Sven Blink, but Sven can actually initiate for some kills. Although he's gonna suffer hugely in his mobility. But here we go, Sven on bottom lane.
We got the Bounty Rune. Sven reveals the Blink Dagger. Quad Bolt coming through. Miracle, though, stays alive, gets the dunk off, finishes off the Timber Saw, who's supposed to be their big tank that counters these strength heroes, but very easily brought down. Artez next. A 2-0.
I mean, we talked about the fact that there was so many strength heroes on Monkey Business. There was also a ton of them for CIS Rejects, and Undying kind of tearing them apart a little bit with that decay.
They're just not committing enough heroes to the runes. Like Monkey Business are heavily prioritizing gold income for the Alchemist. With, I mean, they got a lot of the runes for him. They're stacking like all these camps, and meanwhile, CIS Rejects, their supports are kind of underfarmed. They stay top the whole time. They killed Doom one time, and then now that he's rotated over to the jungle, they're still trying to play catch up instead of being able to zone out Moon Meander as well as get experience, which I feel like the supports on Monkey Business have done a much better job of doing.
Yeah, Big Daddy now goes for the early medallion to amp up his stuns, also allowing them to clear out some of the Ancients a bit more quickly. Speaking of which, still no stacks there.
So now you wait for 12 minutes. 12 minutes is about the time that you'll have the IO ultimate as well as nighttime hitting and level 6 on Night Stalker. So that's a good time to start running in and trying to get kills. But a smoke, always want to fly.
There's the medallion reveal. Now at -14 armor, shredded by the Monkey crew.
That's terrifying. Just across the board, and Dying didn't even have to commit a tomb to that, and ulti, nothing. Like, they can push down this top tower, I feel like, now if they want. Just, it's not nighttime. Well, it's going to be soon, I guess, so.
They have no stacks on CIS rejects. There's no ancient stacks for Sven, which is a little surprising. And then the big camp stacked one more time.
Free little bottle pass for Big Daddy. They bring the Tiny in mid. This is kind of an interesting combo. Toss into Alk stun, potentially. There, Chasey Moon goes for the TP out. No Void available. The Orb's not enough damage, so they're going to hunt for further backline heroes, but they're going to have to dive really far to catch out Crit, and they hesitate, decide not to in the end. Another successful dodge by Monkey Business as they pull into the lead here. Still early days, but up 1250 gold.
Iceberg is going to die in mid,
experience.
or Sven maybe?
Or Alk. No, he dodges the stun with the transformation. Big Daddy, Swag Daddy. That's impressive.
That's really impressive.
I forgot you could even do that. It's been so long.
Jeez.
Does Lone Druid still... it still dodges, right? Yeah, so I guess that's the other big one.
Always want to fly.
Call it out now. Avatos. Ton of nuke damage coming out. Not enough for the kill, but they drop the tomb. They continue pursuit. Brain Sap and a single zombie chop will finish him.
Continuing to go on here. Goritz is getting really low, gets caught out, but is able to blink away at the last second. They're still chasing here. 2 heroes dead. Timbersaw ended up going down as well. Looks like Queen of Pain soon to follow. Avalanche, he doesn't even need to look at that one. That's going to be another kill. Artez falls as well. God's Strength not going to be enough. Double kill for Fly. Miracle's on a killing spree with the Tiny, and Io gets away on nothing. And they're going to take the last little stack there.
What a massacre this game suddenly turned into. From a 1k gold lead to a 4k gold and experience lead.
They're actually just getting obliterated by Undying, I think, in most of these fights.
Yeah, I would agree. Tombstone has not died once before heroes were killed. Miracle's comboing almost everyone without a blink, just literally running into heroes and killing them. Honestly, feels like Doom has basically done nothing this game, and they don't even need him to. And meanwhile, Bane has almost completed a mech. Look at that.
Timbersaw has also really done nothing this game.
Pop is going to jump in. This is the time that CIS Rejects want to strike, but there's the Tombstone again. The Avalanche off the mark. Still always want to fly. Force back. Brain Sap. Toss. Smack him. Always want to fly that attack speed. Oh, I don't even know if he got the attack off. I guess he did. In the end, goes down. 2 heroes fall. They got to sleep on a 3rd. They just lost 4. They're about to lose more. Stun on a few, but Artez doesn't have God Strength. Only gets it up now, but it's too late. CIS Rejects, they need to turn this. Need a bit more damage. Miracle still pushing forward. He's going to have an Avalanche toss in 9 seconds. Moon. Doom's about to cool down. This fight has been so long, and the Rejects are going to have to be content with their 2-for-2 follow-up trade.
Still such a tough one right there. I mean, they get a good amount out of it, but they still lose the Night Stalker and the IO, and, like, barely almost lose the Queen of Pain as well. They're continuing to just get wrecked in these fights. I feel like they need a more solid initiation or a way to kite away from the Tiny, potentially.
I mean, their jump should be pretty good, but Monkey Business is still getting the engages during nighttime. They're picking really good fights and spots to go in, like bottom rune where you can't kill the Tombstone, top where they had that Observer Ward that recently got dewarded. Like, most of these fights that they're taking are on their terms, rather than someone, you know, getting blink stun and just blown up by Timbersaw or Queen of Pain. They're also doing a really good job of soul ripping so that a hero doesn't die very early in the fight. They don't really have that many defensive abilities, minus soul rip and maybe a defensive nightmare.
No.
Whereas CIS Rejects, you would think that they'd be able to survive a little bit more with like Warcry to kind of counter the Alk minus armor as well as the IO, but the IO has been very underwhelming.
So is Timber. Timber's just been getting shut down by these Alk stuns. He's 0-4.
That's not what you want out of your
No
mid-player.
armor, man.
I mean, I go back to what you mentioned about Crit, though. Crit, to me, really won the early lanes for them, and then Fly has kind of taken over in the team fights in the mid-game. And where I like the Bane here is they had a hero bottom that can follow up on the sleep, and they had a hero mid who can. The Alk stun and the Avatos, both. As long as you get that initial sleep, guaranteed to connect.
Yeah, it should be okay, though, because it takes time to charge up, or, you know, it's tiny to walk up, and the supports from CIS Rejects didn't help them at all.
Well, the IO, like, didn't leave top lane almost the entire game. And Night Stalker tried to row mid a few times, but never TP counter-ganked or anything like that.
You either, like, completely avoid Undying, or you overcommit so you don't get wrecked by Tombstone.
What do you think about the Blink Dagger picked up by the Tiny instead of going for like a little bit more tank? There's a lot of pure damage in this game.
It's fine. He doesn't need to carry.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to get a Scepter pretty soon. I mean, he can go get Scepter from Alchemist if he really needs to tank up.
As though this gold strat needs more to line its pockets. They got a free courier kill on top of it all. Big Daddy still with only the level 1 Greevil's Greed. They haven't even gone for a Vlad's on Moon or sorry, a Midas on Moon. So they're not even playing greedy whatsoever. And they're still pulling way into the lead.
I think it's a Scepter for Miracle. I see a point booster in Alk's stash. So that should be Scepter after this tower.
Give it to Tiny?
Yeah, give it to Tiny. I mean, Treads, Blink, Drums, Scepter in 17 minutes.
Oh.
You can also give it to Undying. So it's not... I'd say
that
either
would
of
be
those two.
disgusting. They have 4 Strength Heroes on CIS Rejects as well. Miracle baiting them out a little bit here. Orbs are going to splash through. They need another Svensson or a Blink at least. One more auto tech. Where's the Craggy procs? Doesn't get them. Tosses him back to Quant Bolt off the mark. A whiff, and then Miracle blinks away again. Sven still chasing. He wants this kill, and he wants it bad, but he can't quite get in range.
Those drums paying off right there. Jeez, that was really close.
Yeah, he's giving the Scepter to Miracle. That's a farm, Tiny.
11K net worth right now. Oh, God, it's disgusting.
This is just stupid. we were joking about the possibility of Tiny just being fed an early Scepter, and that's exactly what just happened.
It's a really strong strat. I mean, I
It
guess
is. It's amazing. I'm loving it. It's great by Monkey Business. Just terrible for the rejects. Because the worst part is Miracle's had a huge game impact. He's 5-0 and 3. He's gone for items that let him gank and fight, and now he also can free farm.
Looks like he also has an item slot for Shadow Blade.
At that point, most of these heroes are actually fairly tanky, but if he has any help, he's going to be able to kill all of them off.
Man, that's been rough. I think the one side of this as well is it does kind of gimp your Alchemist a little bit, but I don't know if it necessarily matters. Like, if you're able to get the Tiny that far ahead, you're still in a really great spot, and your Alch can just sort of be... like, all of these other heroes here are going to be able to make use of an Aghanim Scepter as well. Like, Bane's probably being the least impactful, but still okay.
Do you think they're just going to transition into a full, like, support Alch and let everyone else become more of the cores? That's an interesting option, though. One thing we usually see with Alx is that they tend to get a farming item so that they can get the gold faster, even if they want to feed Scepters, but he's not spending his gold.
I mean, he can just get a Solar or Glimmer. Actually, they don't need Glimmer. They can get it on one of the supports, but yeah, I would recommend like one farming item just in case CIS Rejects decide to take it a little bit more slowly, but it looks like they're not interested in doing so.
Goreats, found ya! And down he goes.
Doom and Grip! They must hate me.
I think Monkey Business, they just realize they don't need their spells. They're winning fights with Alch stuns and tombstones.
This is really, really difficult. And like the other thing is it's so hard to fight into this lineup. You've got running into
Miracle
potential.
going for a kill on Van Score.
Gets the auto attack off, blinks forward, Abatos, done.
That is rough.
Even ran into the tether slow there and didn't even matter.
You've got Acid Spray. You've got, all of the stuff coming out from Undying. Doom is terrible to run into as well. It's like if they group up together and try and make anything happen. Now they're going to be taking their Ancients as well.
All these melee bruisers are so popular right now. Like they've got 4 just face tank heroes. And then Bane, who's kind of a tank in his own right with the mech and brain sap.
Well, and he's the thing, like, you saw the other game where we saw Navi really have some trouble being able to, track heroes down and keep them in one place. That's what Bane does and brings to the, like, you can't just run away from this lineup now because Bane's going to be able to sleep you and afterwards.
Miracle wrapping around from behind.
Here comes the backstab. Queen of Pain initiates, tries to finish off Moon, but Miracle is waiting. Where's he going to go with the avalanche? Onto Goreats it is. Toss, follow-up available. And they quickly dunk Artez. Club down. Nice God strength. I don't need strength. I've got a club. A team wipe.
This is disgusting. Oh, they only lose the Alch and all of that.
He's got another 3,000 gold. He just bought a Shadow Blade. He literally just bought a Shadow Blade.
Hyperstone.
16k net worth on Tiny. This is, what is this, like 800 gold per minute?
If you count the Scepter, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is my gold per minute? Do I not have it down? Okay, my math is terrible. It's fine. Oh, because it's not counting the Scepter.
Not counting
Yeah.
Scepter.
Okay, so it's close to, probably close to 800.
Pretty close to, it was close to double the gold of any other hero in the game right now, but he is just waiting. Oh, God, we knew you
Out
will.
and farming Quap. Miracle. Those 8,000 more points coming in handy, though. He may have finally overextended. They're going to doom this Sven, force him back. They earn and heal him up into the trees. Turns with the toss. Goes in with the club. Can't quite finish off. Always want to fly, but that's okay. They've just killed one. Only the Tiny. Timber doing a decent chunk of damage here as everybody else back to the wall. They have to buy back the Night Stalker. And mech'd up, turns, level death onto Iceberg. Can he chain himself to freedom? Earn, taking him down, zombies. What a terrible way to die. This Fly jams it in with a final decay.
Grip onto Artez as well. He's dropping low. He's going to be able to get killed. Yes, Night Stalker might be able to make his way back into the
So
fountain.
that's a double team wipe, is it? And yeah, they've had quite enough of that round of punishment. Moon buying the BM fountain farming day gun.
Yeah, it's the way to be.
Bringing a little NA Dota spice to the European scene.
The monkey supports play too well.
That was really good.
Too well in the early game.
Yeah, Undying Bane that Invis rune I felt like was so huge in terms of their ability. Like, they were playing good before that, and then that extra little bit of RNG just helping them push over the edge. Like, they played the game really, really well.
I would have liked to see the IO help the Timber some more. I feel
Yeah.
like he didn't really do anything top. They didn't even kill the Doom once, right?
They killed him once.
You killed him one time,
that's
and then
it.
she just stayed
Yeah.
there the rest of the game. Also didn't really stack much either.
I mean, Alchemist is getting more and more stock just because of how flexible he is. If you have a bad start, you can just buff someone else and go like a minus armor damage build. And if you're having a great start, you just get Radiance and buff
Manta,
everyone else.
Octarine, and just
Yeah.
feed your team 5 scepters at like 50, 60
Yeah.
minutes.
So I think teams have to commit a little bit better to the early runes. But if you have someone like an Undying, you secure your early, and then you have the late game with Tiny, who can also make the Undying relevant with the Alchemist Axe. So it's kind of a cool strategy, and we're seeing more and more pop up. So
Well, this spices things up a little bit, I believe, in Group B with a tie here.
yeah, what is this looking like?
Oh, they're
CIS
out.
rejects are now out. That's
Oh, they got eliminated from that loss.
Wow.
2 points, and they got one more point from this, right? So 3 points. Or what? I don't think they've updated it yet.
yeah. No, I don't think they haven't
Oh,
played.
they may have. Because they were below Navi.
Yeah, they have to play NIP next, and even if they win,
2-0. They would have 5 points. But they'd have to get better than Monkey Business, and they're going to lose the head-to-head. Or no, they tied them 1-1. What if Monkey Business lose 2-0?
Monkey
CIS
Business
Rejects win 2-0.
Monkey Business is playing versus No Logic next.
So let's say No Logic... Oh, because if No Logic wins 2-0, then No Logic would be second.
Yeah.
yeah.
And if they tie, the Monkey Business has 6 points. Yeah, CIS Rejects statistically eliminated, which means only 3 teams left in Group B. Not as crazy as we thought it could be. NIP, it looks like they've secured advancement, but not necessarily first place just yet.
Okay.
So does Monkey Business secure a berth with 2-0 here?
Yes, for
Yes.
sure. And they would possibly win the group if NIP also